our discussion today. And so basically during our virtual girl chats, we talk on different topics that affect young girls and young women alike around the world. So we're so grateful for everyone who's joining us today. And the topic of our discussion today will be how your thoughts affect your feeling and behavior. And we want to understand how important our thoughts is and the gravity of the impact of the way our thoughts actually affect our day-to-day lives. So we want to talk a little bit about our thoughts and how they affect our feeling and behavior. So I got a little bit of information I want to share before we start. So the first thing I want to share is on average, the average person has about 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Of those thoughts, 80% are negative and 95% are repetitive. If you repeat those negative thoughts, we think more negative thoughts than we think positive thoughts. And you got to think about that. If we think on experts believe we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day, and then 80% of those are negative, and then 95% of those are repetitive. When I read that, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So that made me took back and really think like, girl, what you be thinking about all day? What are you saying to yourself? Our self-talk is the inner conversation that we have with ourselves daily. We must learn to notice the negative messages that we send ourselves and transform those messages into positive and truthful inner dialogue. So let's break down the three components we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about our thoughts, we're going to talk about our feelings, and then we're going to talk about our behavior. So our thoughts are comprised of information that our brain takes in and it sends it to our mind. Our mind acts as the gatekeeper of this computed information. It determines which information is relevant, and thus that will become our mental focus. Those thoughts can very easily become our beliefs, and they can affect our feelings in positive and negative ways. And then emotional responses to the thoughts and behaviors. They're indicators of our interconnection to the situation. They stem from our experiences and our perspectives. And then our behavior. Our behaviors are actions generated from our thoughts and our feelings. We behave in response to something because our thoughts have persuaded us that it's the best course of action to take at that time. So you think about that. We think it, we feel it, we do it, right? So if I had known growing up that some of the thoughts I thought as a young girl would carry over, some of those negative thoughts I thought of as a young girl would carry over into my adulthood and still affect me. Like if you don't deal with those negative thoughts, they linger on with you. I mean, and those things can still impact you today. So we're going to talk a little bit about our thoughts, some of the negative thought patterns we had, how we overcame those thought patterns, and just want to give the girls some encouragement and also some tips on how they can break those negative thoughts and turn them into positive thought cycles. So I got a list of questions, as I like to do X questions all day long. That's what I do, X questions. So my first question, and we're gonna start with our guest panelist, because she's special to us. So, first question is, Ms. Monika, tell us about some of the destructive thought patterns, thought cycles you experienced in your past.
Well, I can recall like graduate through high school, graduating and coming out of, going into adulthood. I always had the thought that, okay, you're not good enough. Growing up in the inner city and South Memphis, you think that you weren't afforded a lot of the opportunities that other girls had, or just other people in general. I was trying to do a lot on my own, trying to sustain and, be motivated, and wanted to go to college. And I think right there was a kind of destructive behavior in my life where it kind of took a turn, applying for school. I know I was good in high school. I did my best, given circumstances, applying to college and going and getting rejected. And that rejection like that kind of was very destructive. So it kind of resonated a thought that, okay, well, I'm not good enough. I can't do this, so I need to settle. And And at that time, I made myself believe that, well, I'm just gonna make the best of this situation and just move forward, because I had other people depending on me, which I did that, but I lessened, my confidence. I was like, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not gonna try to supersede, go above and beyond. I'm not gonna go to college, so I'm just gonna make the best of what I have going on. And when I look back on it, it wasn't the right decision, to make. I should have kept trying, should have kept trying to do what I needed to do. But that was very destructive for me. It kind of stagnated me in life. Even though I was making the best of the situation, doing the best that I could, I just did not have that confidence to keep moving forward. Or I'm like, this is all that it is. This is all that I have. So that was a point in my life where it was very destructive, and it took years to come out of that thought process before I was like, no, I got this. I'm worthy. There's power in my potential. I can keep going. So I kept trying and kept trying. Finally ended up getting into college, and it was just uphill from there. But it took some years for me to come out of that destructive thought process, even though I thought that it was good, but it really wasn't. And it took, I would say, kind of took years to actually come out of it. And it was just that one incident where I knew I did good in high school. I gave my best. I was really good, and I got denied going to school. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not really, I'm not good enough.
Okay. What about you, Miss Jasmine? What are some destructive thought cycles you've experienced in the past?
Oh, I think for me, when it comes to destructive thought processes I've had in the past, man, confidence, like knowing that I have the ability, but not trusting my innocence, my gut. Like, growing up, I grew up with a lot of intelligent people, and they told us, if you're the smartest person in the room, maybe you need to, reevaluate the room that you're in. So being challenged amongst other people, not that it was a threat to me, but it was just like, man, like I gotta really push myself. And a lot of times when I feel like I probably should have been confident, like you got this, I didn't. It's just, I think the biggest thing for me is that stress. I let stress a lot of times cloud my thoughts, and just having too much on my plate and not knowing how to take it off my plate. It really came destructive. So I really feel like a lot of times when I probably could have really been able to do something a lot more, I just let my thoughts like just impede me, and anxiety. I would say it hindered me, but at the same time too, it taught me so much about myself. It's just like, even now as an adult, I see I see myself like, no. Now those thoughts, I can see how easy when you have so much confidence, the smallest thing that come in to be like, nope, you can't do it, you're not capable. So it was a hindrance for me, but it taught me so much about myself. Like, don't let, what's in front of you, come away from you. Like, you gotta really be focused and, and believe in yourself, and, keep the people around you that support you, who believe you, when they tell you like you are beautiful and you got this, like believe it. Like I had to speak those things into my life, not only just live it, but speak it into myself. When I started doing that, man, it helped me so much. And I was just like, to this day, it's like, I learned the different things that I needed there when I started feeling those thoughts, how to address them, who to talk to and what to do. So, redirecting my mind and redirecting those thoughts have really helped me, to get past those negative processes.
Yeah, I think the most destructive thing for me growing up was I was always told that I was not pretty. And I think that it took me years, and I do mean years, to get over that, because when you hear something a lot and it's the same thing and you don't really hear anything different, I wasn't really allowed around a lot of positive people. I didn't grow up with my mom and my dad, so it was kind of tough because I got teased a lot in school, the typical stuff that happens in school. But there was no one to walk alongside me, really help me to navigate my experiences. So that stuck with me for a while. And like you, Monika, certain stuff I wouldn't try, certain stuff I wouldn't do. Even if I felt that I was good at it, I just wouldn't do it because I thought, because what people saw, I thought that's what everybody saw. That's what they think. And I will listen to their opinion versus my own opinion. It's kind of like if everybody's saying it, then it must be true. You know what I'm saying? So that was really destructive for me. And I carried that on into adulthood as a young woman, which led to just so many things that affected me in so many ways. So from thoughts to feelings, and of course, I acted on those feelings in certain ways. So what are some of the consequences you faced from that particular thought pattern that you were talking about? So what are some of the consequences from you not trying or not doing it? What are some of the consequences you experienced, Monika?
Can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I look back on it, and you almost, I feel like you kind of got a late start in life, because like you said, when you transform your thoughts and you live in a more positive life and you're doing positive things in your life and in your community and everything, it almost feel like being reborn, you know, like you living a totally different life. You know, you're transformed, you've been reborn. So it kind of make me think, well, I've got a late start in life because I was stagnant. It was like a gray area. I wasn't doing anything. It was just more easier to feel that, to feed into that. So it makes me almost feel like, well, you got this late start in life, because now I truly feel like I'm living and doing positive things, which I feel like, well, I should have always been doing that. I should have recognized that delay was not a denial, and you know, and not let it just stop me from trying and keep, you know, the momentum going and moving forward. But it just make me feel like I kind of missed out on a lot of things that I could have been doing, that I should have been doing. But as Jasmine stated, even throughout the process, I'm not mad about my past, because my past is what has given me my strength and has transformed me into the woman that I've become today. And so I've learned a lot from it. I'm thankful for it. So it's not all just negative or I'm mad about it, but I just feel like I could have been doing what I'm doing now much longer if I would have realized that delay was not a denial, and I should have kept my positive attitude and had positive thoughts and kept moving forward.
Okay. What about you, Ms. Jackson? What are some of the consequences you experienced?
Man, I feel like I missed opportunities. Forgive me. I feel like opportunities for me, because just lacking that confidence. I feel like I'm one of the most confident people that I feel like so early on. My mother, like she's seen it in me so early on. But I lacked that confidence so bad. This is like really for me. But not having that confidence, it hindered. I wouldn't say it hindered me, but I would have went out for way more in life, and I would have pushed myself more. But lacking that confidence, it hindered me in some opportunities. But I feel like, you know what, I might have missed that opportunity, but you know what, God always had something better for me. I feel like there's so many things I look at. I wish I would have did this. I wish I had come to do that. But every time that I feel like I lost something, I got 2 times more back. So especially as like a teenager,
Yeah.
so much peer pressure, so much going on, even like college, like just seeing, you know, having to compare yourself to different girls and different that you want to do the things, just having the ability and the confidence, you know, it hindered me, because it's like, you know, I knew I could do it, but it was just like, no, you know, I'm not the typical girl. I'm not the average, you know, they're looking for this, you know, maybe she got to be beautiful with straight hair, you know, very poised, which I feel like I was very poised, but, you know, just feeling like I didn't have it, even though I was being told that I had it. And I feel like for my mother, she was like, you know, she pushed me early on. My mama did not accept the less of me. She pushed me, and she seen it in me, and I was like, man, like, my mama seen it. It was like, had I had this confidence early on, and it was so much more I could say, but I feel like I'm where I need to be now, because I feel like now I have a story to tell. I have, you know, something to look back and tell this girl, like, I've been where you've been, like, I understand and I get it. So those negative thought processes, they, you know, I missed out on some opportunities, but I feel like there was nothing that I didn't miss that I didn't need. So I feel like if I missed it for a reason. I might not have, you know, got the opportunity, but I got the message. So I got the message from missing that opportunity.
Yeah.
What about you?
I was gonna say is I think some of the consequences was I really didn't know how to build relationship with other people. So I stayed to myself a lot. I stayed guarded a lot. I didn't trust other people. So I think I wouldn't allow myself to be vulnerable around anyone. I would always have my guard up, and if I thought something was going on, I would walk away immediately. I was okay by myself, and that's fine to an extent. But to think that I don't need anybody else, I had that mindset. I don't need nobody else but me, and I wasn't. That wasn't healthy for me because, of course, we need one another. Look, we got a sisterhood going right here, and we do need each other. But I was closed in, and I think I met a lot of good people who I could have had some relationships with, and I do believe. I'm always grateful that the one person that never left me was Jesus. I always had him by my side. The place I am in my life,
Absolutely.
yeah. So the place I am in my life now, I understand how to build relationship with other women. Even with my husband, even dating was rough for me because I just didn't trust anyone. I didn't think no one saw me the way I wanted to be seen. You know what I'm saying? Then I learned I didn't even see myself like that. So that was one of the things that I think that if I was in a better place by myself, I would have been better with that. So,
to piggyback off that as well, when you say like not trusting people, I think one thing when it comes down to it, like when those negative thought processes, whether we believe it or not, or see it or not, is isolation. It's something that you don't trust, and when you have those thoughts, you can immediately go into it. That's something I think I've had to work on my entire life. It's like I grew up with a big. Anybody that knows me, I have 8 siblings. I have a huge family, mother and father side. But the biggest thing is like when I didn't trust, I just had to I go into isolation, and isolation can be good depending on what the isolation is for. And I think we be very careful with that because sometimes when we isolate ourselves with our negative thoughts,
yeah.
we get swarmed. That's where depression, anxiety, and all those other things come in. I don't think nobody really talks about that. Like, I don't need nobody mindset, and I have these negative thought processes. But I think the most dangerous thing is that if you go in isolation by yourself, it can be very dangerous depending on your mental state, how you're feeling, and how you process those things. So as I've gotten older, I've taken the steps of not going into isolation. If I'm going into isolation to meditate, to pray, to rebuke those thoughts, but not going into isolation, like I'm not going to sit in my thoughts. If I can get up, go outside, exercise, do something that's going to break that. But that's one thing as I've gotten older is to break that cycle of going into isolation when I'm feeling those thoughts versus, feeling positive thoughts. So instead of going into isolation, I go do something that's positive that's going to release those feelings.
Mm-hmm. So, Monika, what about, did you experience any destructive behaviors from just your negative thought pattern?
I did. In turn, it was like like I said, when you ponder on what could have been, or what I should have done, it almost manifests new negative thoughts. It kind of almost creates like anxiety or envy, like, okay, well, or you don't want to get mad at yourself, or anger or things like that, because it's like now you know better, but you keep thinking back on what you should have done or what you could have done. And I had to be careful to make sure that it didn't manifest in my now. Like, so even though we do have to think back and address the things that actually got us to that place, and make sure that that it's not ignored, that you have to pay attention to. And sometimes I felt myself going into a different type of anger about, well, why did I do that? Why did I let that affect me? I should have knew better, just because I know better now. And I had to be mindful to make sure that I wasn't allowing it to manifest in my life now, manifest in my thoughts right now. Because it was an internal struggle, so I had to make sure that I just didn't allow my past and my past thoughts and being angry at some of the things that I've done or what's not able to do to not resonate with me now. So So I guess it started creating new negative thoughts, and it was like I said, it was just a struggle. You just had to make sure that you differentiate that, well, that's not me now. I can continue to move forward. So it was just those destructive patterns that you just had to fight on a daily basis.
You remember that saying, that mind is a terrible thing to waste?
The mind is a terrible thing to be alone with.
Yeah.
It's like, how many negative thoughts go through your mind every day, even as an adult. And I'm older than all of you. You still, every day, you have to bring your mind up under subjection every day, every thought of the day, because it can go to the left so fast. So every day you have to refresh your mind every day and bring all those thoughts up under subjection. So you can, have good thoughts. So, because it can make you sick and stuff like that if you keep harboring that stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Jazz, did you experience any negative behavior from your negative thought pattern?
For me, I would just say isolation, like pushing people away. I think the biggest thing is for me that, and I think from those people like that understood me, but I think a lot of times I probably push people away that, really wanted to be there for me. And I wouldn't think that what I did, how I responded was, like mean or anything like that. It's just I get closed off. Like I get quiet and you won't hear from me. And it's just like I'm processing. And for me, even though most people think that, it's okay, for me, I just I would rather not bring you down with me because I'm dealing with so much versus bring you with me, which I think for the most part, I had a pretty good control of my, negative thoughts and how I handle things, but I just isolated myself. Like sometimes I probably didn't, even when it came to friendship, just getting to know people that were just genuine. It's just I don't know, it's just so much going on. I've dealt with so much negativity and not being able to trust people and handle situations to the point where I stayed to myself. I get to the point where it was just me and myself for a while. And I feel like that's the biggest thing. I handle just really getting to know other people, just in general, friends, anybody, just in general, just because of my thought processes and my experiences.
Yeah, I think my biggest one, I think my insecurities were they were loud and clear because I always felt like I had to show how much I knew or how good I was at something, or, be the loudest person in the room, get some attention, and, hey, look at me, I had something to prove to everybody else. Like I had to prove that I wasn't what everybody else thought I was, or, or I was more than what they thought I was. So I think for me, that was the biggest one for me, because when I think about it, it just makes me, oh my gosh, some of the embarrassing stuff, all the way from my childhood.
Yeah.
Stuff, the embarrassing stuff.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't believe I did that. When you think about it, some of the people I've embarrassed myself in front of. So, thank God for grace and mercy. And thank God for deliverance, because that was a disaster in itself. And it was so destructive because, it didn't, when you blast your insecurities like that, it doesn't make you look better. It just makes you look more insecure. So, and I had to learn that I don't have to prove anything to anybody else. And I had to learn to love me for who God created me to be. And I don't have anything to prove to anybody. So I think that was the most destructive thing for me. Whew, some of the stuff I still think about, I be like, Lord. Yeah. So, Monika, tell us a little bit how you actually broke that destructive thought pattern. What are some of the things that you, what did you do to break it?
Like you stated, God and prayer is one. It's the number one thing, try to learn how to just very small and let go. I just had to learn how to let go of the past, let go of things that haunted me and my experience, and just move forward. One of my mentors a couple of years ago, she had told this story about, it's a story that most people probably already have heard of, the tale of the two wolves that's internal within us. You have the positive wolf and the negative wolf. And And when I was going through that transition in my life, like I said, prayer was my biggest thing, prayer and meditation, and just trying my best to do what's right going forward and letting go of the past. But her story basically was about how it is so easy to feed the negative wolf, to complain, to vent, to harbor anger and envy and you know, lies and things of that nature. But it takes more effort to feed the positive wolf. And I just realized that that was what I was actually doing. I was it's more time consuming. It takes more energy to do that. And I just took the opportunity every day, every chance that I get, to try to make sure that I'm feeding the positive wolf in my life. So you want to make sure you feed that wolf, make it substantial, and you know, let that negative wolf starve. And it's an internal fight that we all have, because nobody has a pure bliss life. And it's an internal fight that we all go through, no matter what different level, or like you say, what caused it or whatever. It's an eternal fight. So basically, I just try my best to feed the positive wolf. Every chance that I get, I do positive things, try to inspire, try to make sure I do affirmations and pray and meditate, and just make it a point to be a more positive person, instead of just complaining or being negative, or sitting and thinking about the past and just, you know, letting negative thoughts rent space in your head. And doing that on a daily basis, it becomes conditioning yourself to manifest in your actions, you know, in your behaviors. So that's kind of what I choose to do. And it's a daily, it's a process. So I try to do that daily and as much as I can.
What about you, Jazz? What are some, how did you break that negative thought cycle?
Man, breaking the negative thought cycle was like being in tune with my spiritual realm, as they say. You know, when you're in tune with your spiritual realm, things are going, you know, around you. No matter what, you can see it coming, you can block it, you can also handle it. So being in, you know, contact with my spiritual realm, you know, being around people that were like-minded, not even just spiritually, just, you know, had the same mindset, and, you know, opening up. I think the biggest thing is for me is like opening up outside of being spiritual. Like, you need somebody to share those thought processes with. You know, you need somebody to talk to and tell you when you're right, tell you when you're wrong. And be like, hey, listen, we're not going there. So I have friends and they like, nope, we're not sitting in this negativity, pick it up, pick your face up, and you need that. So, you know, just having those friends and family that I can talk to and vent to and get me out of my thoughts, you know, when I'm having a difficult time, and just understanding what triggers those thoughts. Sometimes it can be nothing going on. I can just be tired or fatigued, and, you know, I'm just overwhelmed and I don't know how to stop, and I have to say, okay, this is what I need. So, you know, meditating, taking hot baths, exercise and relaxing, doing what I need to do to not only to get myself out of those thoughts, but to continue to keep myself out of those thoughts. Taking care of my, you know, my spiritual realm, and taking care of my physical body, because a lot of times those thoughts come up when we come up with women. As women, sometimes we think we're superwoman, and even though we are superwomen, we get overwhelmed. So sometimes things that we can't handle by ourselves. So just, you know, reaching out, you know, getting advice, and you know, and taking heed to what I need, and continuously, as Monika said, continuously, you know, to feed that positivity, working that negativity out. So doing what I need to do, it's brought me a long way.
Yeah. I would say, you know, it truly, for me, it was the word of God that helped me really break that thought cycle, because I understood that how dangerous my thoughts were, and I understood how much I didn't know, and I understood that I needed a baseline of truth. And for me, it's the word of God, because it's never changing. Not what people say or people's opinion. I needed something solid in my life. And I thank God that at that time, you know, he sent a brave disciple to tell me, you know, a young woman I met, to say, hey, the lifestyle that you're living now is not of God. Because it's one thing to know that there is a God, but there's another thing to have a relationship with God. So once I began to read the word of God for myself, and to establish that as my baseline of truth, that's how I was able to redirect those negative thoughts. and to trade my foolish wisdom for the wisdom of God. And I thank God for that every single day, because I think if I didn't have that, I would be at a different place in my life right now. I don't think I would have been able to break out. Well, I won't say I don't think. I know I would not have been able to break that cycle without the word of God. And truly understanding who God is, believing what he says about me, and understanding that his word is the truth. So I think that for me, that was the only way it was going to be broken. And that's the reason why I can sit here today and think positively about myself, about my life, about my situation, and just have joy, period. So that was the breaking factor for me. So Monika, what was your favorite? So tell us one of your favorite affirmation or a favorite piece of advice that you've gotten from someone that really helped you transform your negative thoughts into positive thoughts.
I believe we all know that we should do better and be better, and be positive. We know that that is the road that we should travel. And like I stated earlier, sometimes we just know that feeding into the negative side, it takes little to no effort. So something was told to me that do not let your emotions overcome your intelligence. Because when you know better, you're going to do better. Sometimes it comes with life experiences, whether they're good or bad. But when you know better, you do better. So don't let, your emotions overpower your intelligence, what you know is right, what you know is good, what you know you should and should not be doing. And so just have to let your intelligence guide you. You know what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay. What about you, Jasmine? What's your favorite piece of advice or favorite affirmation that really helped you transform your negative thoughts into positive thoughts?
I would say one of my biggest affirmations I got from my favorite history teacher. She's passed and gone to be with the Lord recently. Is Miss Absent. She's my eighth grade social studies teacher. She was sharp. She's also a Mississippi Valley alumni, which is my alma mater. And one thing she used to always tell us: no one's allowed to make you inferior without your consent. And I feel like not only for people but for your thoughts, in order for you to get negative and to be negative, I've had to allow those thoughts to come in and protrude, my mindset and my thoughts. And she told me that it's always resonating with friendships, with business, with anything. If you are upset and something something has allowed you to be upset, it's because I've allowed it. I've allowed those thoughts to come in and invade my mind and to trigger different emotions. So, hearing that and being able to tell kids that when they're going through frustrating things and they're upset, or this person did this, or my mom did this, my dad did this, but you do have a choice to be upset. You're not responsible for what somebody does to you, but you are responsible for how you respond. And just understanding her, her breaking down, the logical of that, and understanding that, inferior means, to elevate, to be upset, to be angry. And I'm like, you know what? If their whole intention was to get me upset and they got me upset, then they won. And I don't like to lose at a lot of things, I have a tendency to want to be in control of many things. So just knowing that somebody has the ability to be over my thought processing, that was a problem for me. So it really stuck with me. I'm like, no, if I'm gonna be upset, it might be sometimes, they know what they did get me upset. They did tap into my thoughts, but you know what? Now that I'm older and then I'm really letting it resonate, like, nope, I'm not getting upset. Yeah, it might not be life is not fair. And you're gonna meet some people who are not fair, and things are not gonna go your way, but you have a choice on how you respond, how you let you affect me. And I didn't want to put in the mindset to where, it's me against the world. I feel like when I step out of my front door that, I gotta have my defense up. Because, after so long, when you have those thoughts, those negative thoughts, your defense builds. And you start to trust people, you stop to trust anything around you, and it destroys you. And I didn't want to allow my thoughts to destroy me in my life. So I had to make a choice to be in control of them. And she gave me the ability to be like, you know what? You got a choice. And you get to make that choice. So you decide what you want to do. And I was like, you know what? I got you. I'm going to be in control of my thoughts. I'm not going to let anybody tap into me. If they do, they probably going to be angry at me more so because I'm not going to let it bother me. So I've come a long way with just, taking her advice and being in control of my vices and what bothers me. Because man, you would be amazed at just seeing people just being upset. Like, so you really let them rattle your spirit? And I don't let people get in my personal space when it comes to my thoughts. If I'm in my thoughts are my thoughts, and I gotta deal with them. Just allowing somebody else to do that, that was a problem for me. So I knew that I had to get control of it and be able to handle those things. And now it's just like the new kids, it says the unbothered. Unbothered about a lot of stuff. You probably thought you made me mad, but I'd be like, oh, okay. When you go home, I'm gonna be the same person. Unbothered. Anything else you need? Especially like working like in customer service, just working with people in general. You got to understand that sometimes there are gonna be people with hidden motives. You've never met them, you don't know them from anywhere, but it's some things in them that they haven't addressed that's gonna come out on you. You can be as nice as you want to be. You can be, outstanding. You can be the person that they need to see. But sometimes, in order for some people to reach their full potential, sometimes you gotta meet that dude head on. And it might come from somebody else, and you don't understand. But just knowing how to control your thoughts, you're gonna be a testimony for them, and you're gonna be able to show them like, wow, like I came at this woman full force with every dagger, and she budges because I've been where you've been, and I know where it's coming from. So let me help you fix your thoughts. So it's been a process, but I feel like that's since I've been a kid.
Yeah. Now growing up, I really didn't have any mentors. I read a lot. I like to read. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start a nonprofit for girls. Me and Jasmine got together. We had the same passion. It was because I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anybody to pour into my life. But I always wanted someone, but I didn't have anybody. But I think the life-changing affirmation for me was will be a scripture again. Like I said, I really didn't have a lot of mentors, so I do a lot of reading. So my favorite one was 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things passed away, and behold, all things become new. And I think for me, that was a game changer because I made so many mistakes. And you know how you want to start fresh? You're like, there's no way I could start fresh. I'd have done so many things. But that was just refreshing to my soul because I think when you get to a place when you want to start new, you're not held down by your past. You're free from that. I've learned from that. Now, like Monika said, it is part of who is part of what made me who I am today, but I'm not held down by it. I'm not that same girl. I get to be who Christ intended for me to be. And I think that that's something special. And I think that's something that every girl needs to know. It doesn't matter if you made mistakes. You can overcome those mistakes. You can still fulfill your purpose. You can still reach your goal. And I think that every girl needs to know that your mistakes will not hold you back. So let's talk about some of the benefits of just being in a positive frame of mind. So what are some of the benefits that you see in your life, Monika, from just a positive thought process?
Being able to share my past, my testimonies, things that I've been through with others, be it in my personal life, in other mentoring settings, at work. When you have younger people that have come in and you're just continue trying to motivate them and inspire them. That's the biggest thing for me, is being able to share. And like you stated, I'm not held down by my past. I'm not angry at it anymore. I've moved past it. So I've equipped myself to utilize it as a tool to inspire and help other people. And I will share my story in a minute. I will, let you know, like Jasmine said, hey, I've been there. I've done that. This is what I advise to how you should move forward. So being able to just share those experiences and my outcomes from my past is one of the biggest things for me, and I enjoy doing it. and like you can just look at sometimes the difference that you've made in other people's lives where they like, okay, you know, I'm listening to her. I see where she's been. I see where she's at. I can see where she's going, and you know, and it's fulfilling. So that's the biggest thing for me, just to being able to share it and use my past experience. To try to help someone else, say, hey, you don't have to lose that gap in your life. You don't have to have that much time frame like I felt that I lost. You know, here goes some good advice. So, you know, you should move forward in a more positive way. So, that's a real big part of who I am now and what I enjoy doing and what kind of keeps me going.
Okay. Yeah. So, what are some of the benefits you are seeing or experience just from having a positive thought process?
I've seen the ability to see my life manifest and unfold in how God wants to see my life for me. I've also been able to embrace what I've been through and accepting my flaws for who I am, just knowing that, hey, you human. Like having that positive mindset, like, you know what, it's okay. And, you know, transforming my mindset and having that positive mindset is also giving me the ability to trust. To not only trust other people, but to trust myself, to trust my instincts. And knowing my abilities, a lot of times that I know my instincts, I just don't follow them. So having that positive mindset, it's also giving me the opportunity to overcome abilities. Because sometimes it's always not going to be a yes. Sometimes things don't pan out the way I want them to, but you know, to say, hey, you know, it didn't work out, but let's go another route. You know, to reprogram my mind to look at what's ahead and what's not behind. So that positive mindset has really, you know, transformed, like overcoming challenges. The biggest thing for me is overcoming challenges and adversity and just being able to handle them, because you're going to meet those, you're going to have those, and you know, being positive about it will get you a lot further in life than being negative. So overcoming challenges and trusting, you know, that there's greater and there's more coming has really helped me manifest my life and continue to grow as a young adult and as a woman, to encourage other young girls to know that positivity will get you a long way. And it keeps you in a healthier state. Like a lot of people don't, I think, may or may not understand that, you know, when you're negative, how much it affects your body. And especially for me, I have to be very careful with it because of my mental health and my physical health. I have to, you know, control those things because it can, you know, as we say, wear and tear on your body. When you're not mentally healthy, you're not physically healthy. And a lot of times we don't see a lot of things that are going on with us internally. Simply is also triggering because of our mental capacity. So I've seen how positivity can, you know, help me develop as a person, mentally and physically.
Yeah. I think for me, mine is kind of twofold. The first thing is the sense of peace. Like I don't have to compete for likes or friends. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to compete. I don't have to, you know, just always, you know, wonder. I don't have to always question myself. I don't have to always doubt myself. And then I think the second piece is just the newfound confidence. I'm not afraid to try new things. I'm not afraid to go after my dreams or go after my goals. And it doesn't matter what other people think. You know what I'm saying? So I think the freedom from the opinions of other people alone and just having that peace, just able to be me, to be kind, to be nice, to be loving, and not worry about how somebody else is going to respond. So that's one of the greatest benefits that I have, that I think that I enjoy the most, because it gives me my peace of mind. Okay, so now, Monika, what would you like to say to the girls that's watching today? What piece of advice would you give them today?
We can't.
Hear me now. Okay. There is strength in self-control, and being able to differentiate your thoughts of what you should act on, what you shouldn't act on, what you should allow to rent space in your head or not. It is strength in that. So don't be afraid, like I said, to take control over your life, or and don't let other people be such a loud influence on you. You know, this influence is everywhere. So we deal with our children, your friends, work, everything, but you should be the loudest influence in your own life. So just realize that it is strength and self-control, and it takes time to master it. It's nothing that we are just born with, because life happens and it takes you down through there, and it's a roller coaster, and it's just so much can be piled on you. But just remember that once you can master self-control, peace, tranquility in your spirit, it's strength in that, and you'll be a force to reckon with.
Miss Jasmine, what would you like to say to the girls that's watching?
I would say to be encouraged, pray, and select the air out of the balloon. And when I say to let the air out of the balloon, it's so that whatever that you're harboring, that you're holding inside, which we would call the helium, you need to let it out. You need to talk. Growing up, a lot of kids, we were taught to bottle things in, and I taught. We need to talk. You need to talk to someone. Whether it's good, bad, or not. You need to find someone that you're confident and that you trust to let the air out their balloon, to talk about what you're feeling, whether it's positive or negative. Because don't harbor in your thoughts. Don't harbor your thoughts. We all human. We're all going to go through things, but be open to talk to somebody. Because everybody needs somebody. So I would say for them to let the air out the balloon, talk to somebody. I've been where they've been. I've held my thoughts. I put myself in isolation, and it did more hindering than it's did good. So let the air out the balloon, talk to somebody.
I would say thinking differently is intentional and it's deliberate. You have to be deliberate you have to be deliberate about redirecting your negative thoughts and turning them into positive thoughts. Every day you need to take in something positive. You need to be around positive people. You need to find a way to uplift yourself, whether it's reading, listening to some positive advice from a solid, sound person who's giving you good, positive advice. You cannot take in negativity all day long and become a positive person. It just won't work. You got to surround yourself with positivity. And it's some positive stuff in the world. I know we have a lot going on. And that's why you definitely, in this season, you're definitely going to have to try harder to connect with some positive people. We would love for you to connect with us. We would love to encourage you. We would love to walk alongside you. We can't do it by ourselves. You cannot walk this walk alone. So you're invited to connect with us anytime, to reach out to us. We'll speak to you, whether we'll speak to you on the phone or whatever it takes, just so you know that you're not alone. So, Miss Ida, you have anything to say to the girls?
Well, I can say that Proverbs is a good book, is a book of wisdom. And if you don't have someone to talk to, you can read Proverbs, because it gives you a lot of instructions for life. So that's my advice that I give the girls, to read Proverbs.
Well, that's our time for tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And Miss Jasmine, you ready to close us out?
Yes, I am. Again, thank you, as we are You Girl Inc., which stands for Unique, Gifted, Intelligent, Respected Leaders. We believe that every girl is unique. They are intelligent, they have belief. They are gifted with their own unique abilities and talented. You are real respected amongst your peers and your leaders, and you are leaders in your community. We thank y'all for joining in. This is not the end. We have another session coming up June 27th. We will also be speaking with some women of the community, some professionals who can also offer some advice and some services on how to control your thoughts and feelings. Again, we thank y'all for tuning in. And if you would like to be a part of our next session, possibly a panelist, please send us an email to yougirl@yougirlincorporated.org. And send us your bio. We would love to have some great women of different background, different capacity, different ethnicities, and socioeconomical ethnicities to really impact and continue to encourage these girls. So please inbox us, send us an email. We look forward to seeing y'all again. I am Miss Jasmine. Again, thank y'all, Miss Monika Jones, for being our guest panelist today. We look forward to seeing y'all. Thank y'all. See y'all later.
One thing before we go.
Bye.
So we said we were going to announce that we were going to give a gift on our very next session. So we're going to have a $50 gift card for the first girl who logs on to our session on June 27th.
27th.
On June 27th, the first girl who logs on get a $50 gift card. So log on, inbox us your name. So the first girl who logs on at 6:00 p.m. That's our log on time. We're gonna get with you and mail you a $50 gift card. So we hope to see you guys on our next session. Have a great night.
Yep.
Good night.
For our speakers, we are looking for therapists, counselors, doctors. We want to get some people in the medical field, mental health field that can really offer our girls some professional advice. You know, our advice is great. We're not to discredit us, but we also want to give them ability to speak and talk to and hear from some women, you know, in these backgrounds that can really offer some sound advice and professional advice that can really help them navigate their life experiences. So until next time, again, we'll see y'all later. Thank y'all for joining.
Bye.